Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Ever since I got rid of my iPhone for the Galaxy Z Fold 7, I've been doing my research about Android smartwatches. And as a direct result of that, I made a couple smartwatch related videos. We started off with a comparison video, then we made a video about the OnePlus Watch 3, and today I have the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, so let's check it out. We'll start with the basics, we'll start with pricing. If you go to Samsung.com, the Canadian website, you can get a Galaxy Watch 8 Classic for the low price of 700 Canadian dollars. That is insane since I paid less than that for my Galaxy Watch Ultra. I paid $520 for my Ultra, I got it from Walmart. I got the 8 Classic from Walmart as well, and I only paid $420. That's a difference of $280, but it is not as straightforward as you might initially think. The Ultra that I bought, it is the Canadian version, so I get a Canadian warranty, I can get Care Plus, I can do all that. The 8 Classic though is the international version. What does this mean? It means that we don't get the 1-year warranty, instead we have a seller provided 90-day warranty. This might be an issue for some, and honestly for $280 this might be overlookable. What is not overlookable for me is the fact that I can't get Care Plus for this. That means that if I accidentally hit the watch somewhere, if I break its screen, all that stuff, I can't get it replaced for like $39. This is important for me. I have Care Plus for this watch, but not for the 8 Classic. So although this might not be an issue for you, it was definitely an issue for me. Anyways, we'll continue with what you get in the box. Aside from the watch, you get a band, a charging cable, and some documentation. The band that came with this watch, I didn't get to choose it. The band that came with it is the black hybrid band, and honestly I like it. With this combination, the black hybrid band and the 8 Classic, this watch looks a lot like a regular watch as opposed to a smartwatch. That being said, this design means that the watch is thicker than it needs to be. And the main culprit there is the rotating bezel. We'll talk about that. Otherwise though, I think this watch looks really good, the square circle design works really well, and honestly, it looks modern and classic at the same time. I can see why people are buying this. You have two color options, black and white, and as far as I'm aware, the only difference is the accents. The black one has black accents, whereas the white has white accents. Both are made of stainless steel. This might be an issue because stainless steel in general is more prone to scratches as opposed to titanium. But at this price point, I don't know any smartwatches that have a full titanium body, so that's fine. Anyways, we have a 1.34 inch display with a resolution of 438 by 438. We also have a peak brightness value of 3000 nits. On the back, we have the sensor suite for the health features as well as the quick release buttons for the bands. With that, let's move on to the specs. In terms of the processor, we have a Samsung Exynos W1000. I don't have much to say about it aside from the fact that it has 5 cores. We also have 2GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. We don't have a point of comparison for these specs since all the modern Galaxy smartwatches have the same specs. In terms of the connectivity, we have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, and NFC. There's a variant of the 8 Classic with LTE as well, but not the one that I'm currently reviewing. This watch has pretty much all the health features that you could possibly be asking for. Aside from a heart rate monitor, which is even found in a $30 smartwatch, we have a blood pressure monitor, a blood oxygen sensor, ECG, as well as a wrist temperature sensor. With that, let's start using this watch. In order to pair this watch with your smartphone, you need the Samsung Wearable app. This comes pre-installed with Galaxy smartwatches, but if you don't have a Samsung phone, you can also just download this from the Play Store. The pairing process is quite easy, it only takes a couple minutes and you'll be good to go in less than 5 minutes. Once paired, you'll realize that the interface is quite interesting. Samsung went for a circular interface and it's best used with the rotating bezel. The main screen is the watch face, and if you swipe from the left, you'll have access to your notifications. But those notifications, they're not all found in one page. You're gonna have to keep swiping to see your notifications from different apps. And once you're on a page about the notifications from a given app, you can scroll down to see your notifications from that given app. This takes some time to get used to, and honestly, I can't say that I'm a huge fan of this. When you swipe from the right, you'll have access to your cards. These cards are used for things like calendar, your reminders, weather, health features, and all that stuff. Swiping from the top opens the quick settings menu, and swiping from the bottom opens the app drawer. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of the way you open the app drawer. I think this should have had its dedicated button. Speaking of the buttons, we have 3 of them on the right side of the watch. The button that looks like a main button is the activity button, and it does surprisingly little for how central it's placed. It can only be used to open specific apps such as the stopwatch or the activities page. I'm completely okay with having an activity button, but at least make it customizable. The button on top is used as the home button, and you can customize what it does when you press and hold it. I use it for Gemini and it works fairly well. The one on the bottom acts as a back button, and when you press and hold, it opens Samsung Pay. And there's no way to customize this, at least by default. To me, this makes absolutely no sense since I'm using Google Wallet on my phone, and I want to use Google Wallet on my watch as well. Fortunately, there is a third-party solution, although it's not the easiest to install. You can't just download it from the Play Store, you have to download a helper app from the Play Store first, and then you do your thing, and it takes around 5 minutes. But ultimately, you can install it, it doesn't require much expertise, and once installed, you'll see that it works in a genius way. The app essentially adds an accessibility shortcut, so when you open the S-Pay app, it automatically opens the Google Wallet. You can actually see this in action when you press and hold the button. Unfortunately, this doesn't really work for the action button, so I couldn't remap it. Samsung, please take notes and please give us all the customizability options. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense. The rotating bezel is definitely nice to have, but I can tell that Samsung is phasing them out. Firstly, the scroll speed doesn't increase as you rotate the bezel faster. At some point, it just stops accelerating and you have to keep waiting to reach to the end of a list, for example. Secondly, if you rotate it too fast, it just doesn't work. Honestly, I think it would be better to have a rotating crown on the side of the watch as opposed to a rotating bezel. So there's definitely a learning curve to this watch, but once you get used to it, it's quite intuitive. I can do whatever it is I want really quickly, and the watch itself is snappy as well. My only point of comparison is the OnePlus Watch 3, and this watch is definitely faster than that. We have the latest Wear OS installed on this watch, and that would be Wear OS 6.0. Samsung calls this One UI 8.0, and they also promise 4 years of software updates, so we're good for a while. And with that, we can move on to the battery life. We have a 445 mAh battery, and the rated battery life is 30 hours with the always on display enabled. I use my watch with the always on display enabled during the day, and when I go to bed, I disable it. I sleep with the watch, and under those circumstances, my battery life is around 50 hours. That's honestly really good for a watch this size, and the charging situation is not bad either. The included charging puck is rated at 10 watts, but in reality, you're stuck at around 5 to 6 watts. This means that a full charge takes around an hour, which is not bad. What's worse though is that the charging curve is quite linear. So unlike the OnePlus Watch 3, I can't just plug this watch in for 10 minutes to get a day's use. With the OnePlus Watch 3, I can plug it in for 10 minutes and it'll charge from 10 to 40%. This one doesn't do that, so you definitely need to charge the watch for longer. Overall, honestly, if you want a smartwatch that looks like a regular watch, this might be a good option. But otherwise, I feel like you compromise a little bit too much with this watch. The rotating bezel is nice, but I honestly prefer the digital bezel found on the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Galaxy Watch Ultra. You know what would be even better though? A rotating crown. If you consider this watch as a whole, it's an above average product, but it's not mind-blowing in any aspect. I don't blame anyone for buying this watch though, and do keep in mind that I'm daily driving a Galaxy Watch Ultra, which also isn't mind-blowing in any way, so I'm just saying. I just feel like a lot of people end up getting Galaxy smartwatches because they have a Galaxy smartphone. We need more competitors in this area, we need more Wear OS smartwatches, and we need more variety. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking this video, checking out my other videos, and subscribing to my channel. Take care.